Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for allowing me into your home during this holiday season. We'll be demonstrating some heart-healthy cooking ideas with you. The ideas are brought to you by the American Heart Association, St. Luke's Health, and Sam Houston State University. We will be featuring a full 10-pound skin-on turkey breast that we'll be seasoning with some aromatics. We have rosemary, fresh thyme, salt, pepper, a little bit of celery, onions, and carrots. We'll also have roasted butternut squash, asparagus, and we'll be doing Brussels sprouts with a roasted red tomato. My name is Chef Andre, and if you will allow me, we're going to get started. If you'll give me just a moment, I'm gonna grab some gloves, and then we'll start up with our turkey breast. So we selected the turkey breast because it is the leanest and healthiest part of the turkey, so that we would have some natural added flavor without introducing salt and fat. We pick one that has the skin left on it because the skin is natural to the turkey. So we're going to take our turkey breast and we're going to season it with just a little bit of pepper, and we will season that on both sides. Get a nice rub. We'll raise the skin up in places where we can. We're going to turn that breast over and season the downside as well. In order to create some even cooking and flavor throughout, we're going to add rosemary to the bottom of our pan. We're going to add whole sprigs of thyme also to the bottom of our pan, and we're going to add a small amount of onion, a small amount of celery, and carrots. And then we're going to place our whole breast in the pan, and we want to place that skin side up. And then on top of that breast, we're going to do the same. We're going to add rosemary, we're going to add thyme, we're going to add celery, carrots, and onion. And then we're going to place our turkey breast in an oven that is 375 degrees with the expectation of cooking this in between an hour and a half to 2 hours, or until the internal temperature comes to about 160 degrees. So our next item that we're going to prepare is going to be our butternut squash. We're going to take one butternut squash that's been cubed. We're going to place that on a roasting pan, and then we're going to season that with a little bit of garlic, some lemon juice, some cinnamon, some thyme, just to add a little bit of sweetness. We're going to add just a little bit of honey and some cooking spray just at the end so that our butternut squash does not stick. The recipes and the exact amounts that you would need to make this dish will be put in the comments for you to be able to view. A few sprigs of thyme, our black pepper, mixture of canola oil and olive oil, and the little pan spray so that they do not stick. We're going to simply toss all of those items together, and then in the oven they'll go. Our next dish is something that is also a one-pan item. We're going to be roasting some asparagus. Garlic, lemon juice, our canola and olive oil mixture, a light drizzle, pepper, and we're going to toss these, and they will also go in the oven to roast for approximately 17 to 18 minutes. Our asparagus today is relatively thin. I typically like something that's a little bit thicker, but this will allow us a shorter cooking time. So just be mindful that the thicker your asparagus is, the longer your cooking time will need to be. And off into the oven they go. Our last item before we start our dessert is going to be our roasted Brussels sprouts. And we're going to pan roast those on top of the stove. So let's get a pan started here. We're going to turn the pan on to medium to high heat. And in that pan, we're going to add our canola olive oil mixture. We're going to add some roasted red pepper, or red pepper that we're gonna roast, excuse me. We're gonna add some garlic. So if you're like me and you like a lot of garlic, do not be afraid to add as much as satisfies your taste. And then I have Brussels sprouts that have already been blanched just slightly until they turn bright green. You want to make sure that when you blanch your Brussels sprouts, once they turn bright green, that you now take them out of your hot water, add them into an ice bath so that they shock into a state where they're no longer cooking, so that you don't have your Brussels sprouts end up being overcooked. And then we're gonna add just a small hint of lemon juice. One of the things I would encourage you to keep in mind when cooking is not always an exact science. Cooking is about what you and your family prefer. So feel free that when you're cooking to take the liberty to add a little more of this or a little less of this, things in which you know that you and your family might enjoy, particularly around the holiday season. And also feel free that as you are watching cooking shows and videos, to be a cook or a chef who's willing to explore some of the best items out there to introduce to your holiday table you haven't even discovered yet. And we hope that the items that we're cooking today will be one or some of those that you will be glad to introduce to your family. While our Brussels sprouts are sauteing, we're gonna grab a fresh cutting board and we're gonna begin to work on our stuffed apples. I prefer the giant Macintosh apple. Some folks would like the sour green apple. Some just would prefer a Washington red apple. You can pick the one in which best suits your taste, depending upon your sweetness or tartness flavor profile, but this is my favorite. We're going to take our apple, simply split it right down the middle. We'll grab a pan for those to go in, and we're gonna core the apple. You can buy an apple core, or you can use simply a small ice cream scoop. My preference is the small ice cream scoop. And guess what, team? I hear Brussels sprouts are sizzling over here, which is a happy sound to me. We're gonna step back over to our Brussels sprouts. We don't want them to burn. And they're looking mighty nice. We'll get nice color. Our red bell peppers are starting to soften, and we're stirring so that our garlic doesn't burn. Back to the apples. So we have one cord. We'll split and we'll core a second. I want to show you something that I like to do with my apples. If you could see how they're kind of rolling around in the pan, once they start to cook and they release that liquid, they tend to kind of roll over and all of your stuffing falls out. So we're gonna do just a little trick to prevent that. We're gonna take our knife and we're gonna just make a flat spot on the bottom of the apple so that it sits in the pan flush. Now our apples sit flush and they're not rolling around. What we'll do with all of that goodness that we just chopped off is we're not gonna throw it away. We're gonna now dice that and we'll add it into our apricot mixture, and we'll use it as part of our stuffing. And I believe what I hear and smell are finished Brussels sprouts. Oh, that's perfect. Just absolutely perfect. Softened red peppers, a small amount of char on the Brussels sprouts. Our garlic is not burned. We are absolutely 100% ready to go. Well, I'm looking at this platter so far, and I might have to put my track shoes on, see if I can beat my brother to the table. Back to the apples, which is gonna be one of the highlights of the dessert. So we now have our diced apples that was trimmed off of the bottom of the apples that we're gonna stuff. And we're gonna take about 2 apricots per apple half. So that means we'll need about 8 apricots, 2, 4, 6, 8 apricots. And we're going to take those and we're gonna do just a rough cut. They don't have to be perfect, they don't have to be even. We just want a nice, rough cut on those apricots to go into our apples. Now that we have our rough cut apricots and our apples, we're gonna add some almonds. And then we're gonna put all of that in a bowl because we need to add a couple more things, and we want those next items to actually stick to that mixture. We have allspice, about a half a teaspoon, cinnamon, ginger, brown sugar, and we have vanilla. We're gonna mix all of that together until it becomes almost like a paste. We're gonna spray our apples with our cooking spray. We'll spray the bottom of the pan just a little bit so that they don't stick. And then we're going to fill our apples. We have one more step, and then off to the oven we'll go with our apples, and that is we're gonna hint just a slight drizzle of honey. The purpose for the drizzle of honey, the brown sugar, the vanilla, and our spices is so that when the apples themselves release their juice, it'll make a nice syrup that comes naturally off the apples to be able to just drizzle over top when you serve them on a plate. Off to the oven we go. Perfect timing. Our asparagus is ready. If you notice, we have a little char. You can see where the asparagus has released its water, but it's not burned, it's not overly dry. So now it's time for us to check on our turkey and to check on our roasted butternut squash. Oven roasted, it's produced its own liquid. It's got a nice, perfect color on it. It's still beautiful and firm. We have some already on our display plate, just to show you what we've done before. And now, and keep in mind that you don't want to overcook your butternut squash because as it comes out of the oven, it'll continue to cook for a moment. And now we have one last thing in which we need to check on, and that's going to be our whole roasted turkey. Absolutely beautiful. Very nice. Fully cooked, even, all the way through. Nice color on the skin, no extra added fat, no extra added salt. Perfect for a family trying to stay healthy and eat healthy. Fully cooked, nice and succulent, not overcooked, beautiful. Roasted turkey, butternut squash, Brussels sprouts, roasted red pepper, and roasted asparagus. I'd like to show you our potential gravy. Because we did not add fat, salt, or sugar, we now have a wonderful natural made stock that we could use if anyone would like to have gravy for their turkey. An excellent addition to go with your healthy items. I think I smell apples. Let's go take a look and see what they look like in the oven. Absolutely beautiful. We have nice color on our apricots. The apples are nice and tender but not overcooked. And if you notice at the bottom of our pan, the brown sugar, the honey have released and made their own sauce. That'll go perfect right over top of the apples. We're ready to eat, y'all. On behalf of the American Heart Association, St. Luke's Health, and Sam Houston State University, we'd like to thank you for allowing us into your home. American Heart Association recipes are on the link below or on the AHA website. Happy holidays, blessings, and stay healthy.